You know, if you remember back with Allstate, let me ask you something. I those funds that I still have funds left over.
Hold on.
Battery 90.
All right, here we go. Perfect. Hey, Mort.
Hello.
Hey, I'll hop off, or I'll make sure you're the host.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate
Yep,
it.
you bet. And I'll get on the other one.
Sounds good. Okay. Looks like we've got a small crew today. Can wait a little bit longer to see if anyone else pops on. Just waiting a couple more minutes, see if anyone else pops on. Awesome. Looks like people are slowly starting to pop on here. I just wanted to stop in quick to give you guys a quick intro to Nick. He will be your hostess with the mostest for this afternoon. Give me 1 second. I'll pull out my email here. All right, so Nick is the current owner of the Oasis Group. He comes from a background of insurance in his family. He owned 2 Allstate locations and grew a $7 million book of business over a course of 8 years, and had locations in Rochester and Buffalo before he exited in September 2020. He is 36 years old and just welcomed a new baby, I hear. Did it happen on Friday, or are you still waiting?
Still waiting.
Still waiting. Oh goodness,
Still
we can
waiting.
happen anytime now, huh?
Any day now.
That's crazy. Well, hopefully you'll have another one. It looks like you said you have a 17-month-old right now already.
A busy life.
That's crazy. Yeah. Some dogs in there too. That's pretty awesome. He has been in insurance now for 13 years between Paychex and Allstate. Has sold every single possible insurance policy you can imagine. This arrangement between Oasis and KW happened because of a close friendship with Anthony Butera. He says, don't hold that against him.
Yes, please don't.
I don't think anyone will. I
Okay,
will hand
good.
it over to you now. You are the host, so if you need to share your screen or anything, go for it. You can make anyone else the host if you need to as well. And I will pop off. I'll keep it. Yeah, I'll pop off here. You should be all set from here on out.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
You too. So I guess what I'll kind of do is throw this back at you guys, and I'm really interested to see specifically what you are all looking for in the insurance world, and what would help make your process and make you more comfortable with referring the transactions that you do, especially on the buy side, for us to be a part of your business. It seems to work pretty lockstep and key with the buyers, and we have a very, very high hit ratio whenever we are referred directly from one of you agents to a prospective customer. We're closing them around a 95% ratio, which means we're saving them a lot of money. We're cross-selling them additional products of stuff that they weren't actually looking to quote, and we're offering them a lot more because there's full gamut of insurance products. So depending on where they work, we can help with their health insurance. Depending on what they own, we can help them buy disability insurance. Depending on where they're at with their auto insurance, we usually quote that on top of the homeowners. We sell a lot of umbrella policies because people really don't know or understand precisely what they do, but it's basically like $1 million backpack walking around so that you can not just have an accident in your car or in your home specific to those and only have liability cover there. But our job is to really focus on a higher level of comprehension from the individual, and not so much just on the price, but usually they work hand in hand right now because we have so many carriers. So I guess if there's anybody out there at this point, and speak up if you'd like, what questions could you have from us to where we can make your process a little bit better, especially from the insurance standpoint, and knowledge that you'd like to know?
I have a question.
Okay.
So are you going to stalk our customers, our clients?
No, we don't need to actually stalk your customers for this to work. And when you classify it as stalking, what are you referring to? Text messages, phone calls, emails, et cetera. What are you referring to as
Yes,
that?
yes, and yes, all of the above.
Okay.
Constantly calling them even after they've said no.
No, we're not a car warranty phone call. We're not
Thank you.
interested in actually making people upset at us. What we're really interested in, and what you'll find is, and maybe this will bring your guard down too on behalf of your customers. I understand that a lot of people have relationships out there with insurance agents and or companies. But a lot of times what we find is the people who have had the longest relationships have the policies that need the most work. Now, I know that kind of makes no sense in that you guys have, longstanding relationships with customers that you've bought and sold homes for in your past, and I'm sure you do them right every time. It's not the case with insurance agents. Unfortunately, things evolve over time. There's constant underwriting that's required. And we certainly don't want to call and berate customers just to get their attention. But I guess what I can ask you is, because it seems like that's more of a guarded question rather than one that is a little bit more in the process. How can we fit better in your process to where you're comfortable saying that, yes, you should talk to Nick?
I myself am getting stalked by several people, text messages, emails, all of that, like you said, the car warranty thing. And so I wouldn't want my customers to get that, so.
Okay. I mean, all you have to
so-
do, you don't want to be contacted by anybody. You could have your name taken off the list. We don't have to, contact or call you, but our job was to reach out to pretty much all you agents as well. And, there's something in it for you guys. As you know, they lowered the cap for you guys. They're doing a lot of things in the background that Anthony and Chuck will probably tell you moving forward, to where it brings actual monetary benefit to the table for each one of you agents to work with the insurance agency. So the only thing I would say is, have you given it a try just yet? Or is it something that you're just completely disinterested in the industry entirely? Like, have you been able to respond to any of the text messages or anything? Or has anybody from my office actually spoken to you? Or is it just you keep getting those messages and you want them to stop? Because I can do it either way. It doesn't matter. We can stop them if you'd like.
No, it's not from you. It's just other places.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
And I wanted to verify with you so that I can let my clients feel more comfortable.
Yeah. So when the process is completed here and the rollout is completed, there will be disclosures. And on those disclosures, there's just an opt-in or opt-out. If they opt out of it, we're not allowed to actually call them by law. So we won't. There might be a misstep randomly here or there, but the hit ratio on something like that for us to actually call out someone that does not want to be called is next to none. We're pretty adamant about making sure that we're compliant. Because what we don't want to do is ruin your process. Obviously, you're selling a home, you have the relationship. We only look to have it warm released directly to us so that we can actually, bring value directly to the table. We don't want to cause any agents any harm. And we certainly don't want you to have a conversation with the person you're representing that, they're complaining about something that's irrelevant to what you have going on. That's something I really want to avoid.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Of course.
Nick, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
Well, if Marlene wants to finish, I could ask if she has something else.
No, I know that was questioned by several others in the office, so I wanted to verify that.
Yeah, we had
Thank
one person that was called, and it was just a miscommunication. We fixed it immediately. Jessica's actually very familiar with it too. It happened with one of the larger teams there, and we fixed it immediately. So whenever there is a problem, you're more than welcome to just shoot me a quick email or call me. I can correct any issue that's going on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Dana, did you have any other, or Marlene, did you have any other questions at all?
I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Dana, floor is yours.
So, yeah, I'm just curious. So I'm new to Keller Williams in the last week, and I just kept getting this email about Oasis insurance questions. And I thought, oh, I wonder what this is. I'll just, listen. I'm actually driving to pick up my kids at school.
Okay.
But I'm just curious. So if you're talking about doing insurance, are you, and for lack of a better example, kind of like Geico, when someone calls in and you're looking to see who you can get the best policy with, or are you guys actually holding insurance policies yourselves?
Well, we're a broker, so we represent numerous companies. We're not captive to Geico, for instance.
Right.
When somebody's calling us, yeah, the one benefit that we do have is representing numerous companies to find a better fit for an individual, rather than just like, where I used to work with Allstate. If you couldn't qualify within Allstate, then I couldn't write you. So
Right.
anyone who may have a problem where, say, they have an unsatisfactory driving record, they don't have very, very good credit, there might, the income might be low, whatever. Usually we find that there's a much higher cost savings just because of the bandwidth that we have to shop that person's insurance and find them a better overall deal for what they're getting, versus someone who just calls Geico and says, hey, listen, I want to pay the cheapest amount possible. And then Geico's notorious for giving you state minimums and then setting you up that you could have some serious issues if you ever get into an incident. We find that a lot.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I guess I can understand that if someone is uneducated, right, making a phone call about insurance.
I would say that 98% of the people we talk to are fairly uneducated about the actual coverages, what they are, what they do cover. And the people that are actually educated on it, normally more often than not, they either come from a background of insurance or they've already been bitten by something that happened to them. And this is after the fact. So usually we end up kind of fixing something after the fact with those individuals, which kind of stinks because, if you had this coverage, you wouldn't have had to pay. That's a hard conversation to have, but it's also a difficult conversation to tell somebody to protect themselves against something that hasn't happened yet. But as you could imagine, with how many insurance policies we write, how long I've been in this business, I can comfortably tell you that I've seen an awful lot of very, very unfortunate incidents and accidents. And there are people from both camps, ones who don't want to pay, a specific amount for any particular coverage. And it's, kind of stung them. And then the other ones that pay for the coverage understand that they're paying more, but they see value in it and they carry the correct coverages on it. So we don't usually like to write individuals that are saying that I want the cheapest coverage possible, because we know statistically the odds are not in our favor for them. We'll actually make them sign waivers, if they decline particular coverages. So I'm going to give you an instance. If there's a single driver on a policy and they go ahead and they decide that they want to decline rental reimbursement if they get into an accident, we will make them sign a consent form that says they did in fact deny the coverage, because a lot of times they'll come back, they won't remember the conversation we had and say, why didn't I have this coverage? We keep those on file, just A, for our record keeping, but B, to make sure that we're very, very thorough in our analysis of each individual, client that we obtain. So I know you've been in, Keller Williams for just a week. I'm sure that there are individuals around you, if you did speak with them, because we did write a lot of the actual agents. We're always hopeful to get to talk to everyone, but that's not really the way that it works out. But there really hasn't been one that we haven't been able to save significant money and give them better coverage on any one of their policies that they may have. So, if you've been around for a week, the best test subject would be yourself. There's no obligation to the quote. It just behooves each one of the agents to try out our insurance agency, because ultimately it's what caused Anthony and Chuck to lower the cap amount, which you guys get paid a lot more for your real estate transactions when you cap lower, as I understand it. Is that kind of correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're trying to make this the most attractive model possible for you real estate agents. And we're trying to create an environment where we're more part of your process rather than being someone that you have to worry about. I most certainly don't want that. I want you guys to be able to feel, excited that, Oasis Group is going to be working on your insurance policies and they're going to be written correctly. Your customer is going to be taken care of and your transaction goes smoothly. That's ultimately our main goal. So I don't know if you had any other questions on that or anything that you do want to know, but fire away.
Hey, Nick, this is Courtney Dudek. How are you?
I'm good, Courtney. How are you?
I'm good. I'm driving, so I'm not on video, but
It's okay.
one of the questions I had related to, I guess, the process is when, we obviously have the disclosure form that we have people sign and, or the affiliation form. And when they sign it, and assuming they're not opting out, which I say the only person so far since we've had this partnership that's opted out in my experience is my friend who is a State Farm agent. So
Makes sense.
he was obviously not going to, doesn't need a call from you guys, but everybody else has been willing to take the, to take the call. I guess the piece that I don't understand or not from you guys, once we'll find that agreement and I mean, we turn our paperwork into our office. So I'm assuming at some point in the process, the paperwork comes from the office to you guys because I'm not sending it directly to you. And so I guess I'm kind of just from a information standpoint, also for how, communication with my clients, like when should they be expecting that phone call or that contact?
I got you. So here's what we're really, really working on. We know you guys use specific software and we use specific software. And what we're really trying to do is we're trying to marry the two in that when you turn in a disclosure and it's entered into the system, that if they actually opt in and they want to hear from it, that'll hit our lead desk right away. So however fast you get in the paperwork is however fast we're trying to get out and reach the customers. So without those disclosures, we usually cannot call them unless you physically call me and say, hey, Nick, one of my customers wants to get a phone call. Can you have someone reach out to them? That expedites the process for now. But the paperwork itself, once it gets put in the system, yes, it is being released to us that they did want a phone call. So the way you can gauge it is when you turn in your paperwork, if you haven't talked to us directly, you can count on them getting a call within 48 hours.
Okay. From when we turn the paperwork in.
From when you turn the paperwork in. Yeah. Cause I guess your system is updated through team leaders, and those team leaders usually send the lists of the individuals if they do want to call and don't want to call, but we're trying to make it one step further and a little bit more seamless. If we can automate when you turn in your paperwork to directly automate to our system, it'll just show it's your customer, give me all the information that we're looking for and your name attached to it. And then we will call them, and that will lower the process down to, probably within minutes of when you turn in the paperwork.
Right. Okay.
So,
and then, and I think for what I understand is as long as they're not opting out when they sign that disclosure, they're fair game for getting a phone call. Is that
so the thing is, we're not going to call them 55 times. We're going to call them.
And I totally understand that. I completely get that. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing something as far as how I was communicating it to my clients too.
Well,
so I've told them that.
For your knowledge, I just kind of wanted to give you the background on if someone doesn't answer the phone physically, the only other things that we will do, we'll email drip them every once in a while, or we will text them with a calendar invite and say, if you want to speak to us, just click on Calendly here, schedule an appointment on us and we'll call you at your leisure. And then we kind of leave them alone. And then it's just more passive marketing. Where we'll email drip them, in the future if they wanted to. If they don't want to, they just simply opt out of it. There's opt-outs on everything that we send. We make sure of that. So if somebody wants to unsubscribe, opt out, do whatever they want to do so they don't want to be contacted, we will take care of that.
Got it. Okay.
We've been very diligent because we know you guys are very, very protective over the customers that you maintain relationships with, and we certainly don't want to sour that. I can't impress upon everybody enough.
Well, and the other thing that's worth noting, if people on the call don't know, is it's my understanding that you guys also are protecting their information as well and are not a company that's going to be selling your contact lists to anybody else. So there's no concern that they're going to end up having their info sent to somebody else and having, then getting the calls from the car warranty company.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Et
I live in
cetera.
Rochester and my partner Jason lives in Buffalo, and we're, an individualized entity. We do not speak to, share anything like that. It's just in our agency specifically, and Keller Williams
Right.
does a really good job of protecting you guys, and the expectation is really high of us protecting that. So
Yeah.
we don't share any of that information with anybody.
Right.
But sadly, if someone Googles insurance, you're going to get calls from whoever bid the highest for that geo-fenced area. So
Right. I hear you. Yeah.
arguably will be less intrusive.
Right. Okay.
So yeah,
Cool. Thanks.
absolutely. Did you have any other questions, Courtney?
I don't right now. Nope. Those are
Okay.
just a couple things I was curious about.
I just wanted to go over a couple other things that I'm pretty sure that no one's really familiar with. I know we're talking about home insurance, auto insurance, the stuff that's pretty familiar to you guys. We do have strategic partnerships. A lot of your clients that we've talked to already, I know that a lot of you guys probably don't know part of this because maybe they haven't told you this, but a lot of them do not own their own life insurance policies, own long-term care policies, own disability policies. They don't own any of that stuff. We have a strategic partnership with a wealth management firm. I'm licensed as well to do any of this, but we work directly with them. And the biggest reason why is because all of these clients who are buying homes, usually married, maybe have kids, have things to protect. And we find that we're getting a very large hit ratio of the individuals who buy life insurance, all that kind of stuff. We also have a strategic partnership with a commercial agency. So the people who own businesses, we can analyze their business insurance for them. And we have access to almost every single carrier you can imagine in 48 states. So there's those two things, and add in the last part, health insurance. We will help you with your individualized health insurance if you need to have a contact for that. Once we take over, obviously, the Keller Williams actual health insurance policies and whatnot. But I have a nationwide partnership with a company that will do that as well. So I can help you from any end of the spectrum that you want. I mean, I just got done writing a malpractice insurance for a woman who does lash extensions for women. And I have another one that did a Botox place. I have professional liability for an attorney's office. So it's not just, we do a lot in our underwriting process with them, but it's not just home and auto. I want to make that kind of abundantly clear, because when you're talking to people, it brings value to an individual that may need some of these specific insurances, even when they're selling their home and they may be lost. You'd be surprised if you asked how many of them just went out and got it from the first place they found on the internet and really didn't know anything about it. So that's where we really bring value, is that I'm trying to give you a full circle around your customer so that you are obviously looked at as the main individual that they're going to be working with, that they're going to entrust, but ultimately the resource for them in some of the places that they don't currently have a resource in. So, if someone's purchasing insurance through Geico, through Progressive, if they did it directly online, a lot of times what they don't know is what they don't know. They might not have talked to somebody that really cares. They were just interested in selling them a policy and getting them off the phone. We do a full underwriting background on each individual that you guys are selling so that we can give them the best case scenario for every bit of their insurances. So I understand that, you're limited and you want to stick to your real estate sales. Just keep it in the back of your mind. If someone brings something up, I promise you we can accommodate it. Anybody else have any
I
questions?
have a question.
Okay.
It's about the home warranty. From one of the earlier Zoom conversations, I had heard that the policy goes in effect as soon as the buyer's offer is accepted. Is that correct?
You're saying the home warranties?
The home warranty, yes. Sorry.
Okay, I don't have much background on the home warranty because that's for Anna, I believe her name is.
Okay, yeah, well, then my question is I had heard from that they also, as soon as that's in place, it also protects the seller against anything going wrong obviously during that contract period. And I just wanted to be sure that I understood that and that was true. But if you can't answer that, I'll have to.
Yeah, I actually sat in that meeting in more of a capacity where I was learning as well.
Okay.
Yeah, the home warranty is something that we're working actually together to try and become a little bit more streamlined and a part of on the insurance side, because it does go hand in hand. In reality, if someone doesn't carry the proper insurance coverage on a home that you might be representing the seller or the buyer, and you're trying to get them the warranty, of course, you're going to want to be able to give them the full background from both standpoints on precisely what to do. So,
Right, well, with people waiving inspections today, I found that would possibly be a comfort zone for the buyer as well as us as agents to know that it's covered, but also to, when you present that offer, to be able to tell the seller that that insurance covers that home and also them as well, for any potential thing that can go wrong during the process. And I just wanted to be sure that's what I had heard. I'll have to pose that question again when I get a chance with somebody who's a little more knowledgeable on it, because that would be important to me if my buyer wants to waive inspection. But also it could make, you could make it sound good in your offer, which might also help with your offer being accepted. So.
yeah, I actually have the pamphlet and like the brochure. I don't know if you actually took it, but I read through some of it, and I'm pretty sure there are specific avenues, I guess covered perils is what you can say, on the home warranty. And what they ask for is just some additional underwriting, names and years of the appliances in the house, things like that. There are little particulars that work in there, but as I understand it, my understanding is pretty much like yours is, that there's coverage for both sides.
Right. Okay, great. But I'll reach out again when when I can get a definite answer on that.
Well, I'll have an answer for it probably in the next week. So
Okay,
I've been
great.
working with Anna from the home warranty company, because I do know that it's difficult enough in this market for you guys to sweeten deals enough for them to be getting accepted because of how crazy it is out there. And waiving inspections, 50,000, 70,000 over ask. I know your world is very, very crazy right now. So the home warranty stuff, if we can help out a little bit more on that end and alleviate that responsibility from you guys to sell that and then help sweeten your deal, it might bring a little bit of value in your process when you're talking to them. If you can refer them over to us for the insurance, we might be able to push the warranty for you.
Jim, would you be able to mute yourself because it's echoing?
I will. I just wasn't because I was talking. Yep, I'll do that right now.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks again. Appreciate the answer.
Of course. So I guess the best part about what we're really trying to do for you guys is be kind of in your back pocket as a trump card. If we can find you policies that are more beneficial for your people, I mean, I'm sure it would make them happy if you were selling them a home and they might have had to pay $30,000 over ask, even on the buy side. If we wrote their auto insurance and saved them $1,000 or $2,000, I know that's pretty much an extreme case, but it might be nice for you to be able to deliver via us, to help them save a little bit more on that side too. It doesn't happen that way every single time, but more often than not, it does. And especially the larger box carriers like the State Farms, like the Allstates, that have agents that are, on the side. You're paying for the name ultimately. That's realistically what you're paying for. They do have a lot of coverages, but there's one coverage that I have in mind right now that all of our carriers offer that, say, Allstate doesn't. I only know this because I worked with Allstate, but Allstate doesn't offer sewer line coverage. So in the real estate world, as I understand it, the sewer line is owned by the person who owns the home from the sidewalk up. So underground there, if that pipe bursts, Allstate's homeowners product does not cover any of the excavation, doesn't cover the pipe, doesn't cover the damage, none of that stuff. Ours do. So when you think of home coverage and you think of warranties and you think of if you're putting the people with the correct, insurance carrier, don't let them just walk away without having a conversation with us. And you can most certainly assure them that we are not trying to push things down their throat, nor are we trying to, hard sell them. In reality, by the time we're done with them, more often than not, they want to go with it because of the value we've brought to them. And because they didn't know they had things that were missing off their policies that we helped them find and cover. Is there any other, questions you guys may have for me about how, we work our processes, who you're working with, et cetera? Because I know that some of you have, if you're part of teams, you'll have an agent that's, responding directly to you. One of our team members is responding directly to you. Is there any feedback you have for me on any of those agents or any of you that have worked with anybody in our agency? Anything you'd like to share or give suggestion to, because I'm always open to hearing, where we can fine tune our business to make it more relatable to yours.
I have a question about the company. How many people do you have working for you or with you? Because I actually got a call from one of your people. I think his name was Michael. And is that right? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't have any follow-up stuff from him yet, but I just wondered, I guess that got me to thinking. I wasn't sure how big you guys were and how many agents you have working with you and all of that. So I'd be curious to know that.
So we currently have 9 people and we'll probably be hiring 2 or 3 more. Each individual, the way I can tell you that it normally works, you want to have 1 service person per 1,200 policies in a household. We've written on an average month, we write around $233,000 in premium a month, and the average household premiums around $2,500. So we're capturing, each rep is mandated to really write 25 households a month. So if it were you, it would be, you, if you have a spouse, your 2 cars, the home, the umbrella, and any toys you have. So we can handle the volume that you guys are at right now because it really hasn't come to a flooding point, but we have people on call, and Jason and I still work in the business. Jason writes a ton of business himself, and so do I. So we have it more organized where Jason handles the personal lines, and I've been doing a lot more with the strategic partnerships for the health insurance, commercial insurance. I do a lot more of the financial planning end, and then Jason does the personal lines. So if you have anything that you need or timeframes or anything like that, we can more than handle it because Jason has a book of business from Allstate and people that he has. I have the same thing. So, we're getting people trickling over from there, but they're busy all day. I will say that. They're very busy, and we are ready to hire more as you guys ramp up your volumes. I know we're in the midst of selling season right now, and it goes till what, September?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, these are the higher, I guess, transactional months from, as I understand it so far.
Yes,
but
that
yeah,
would be true.
Yeah, an insurance agency with 9 individuals working in it. There's a lot that can be handled. We'll put it that way.
Right.
So my
Right.
$7 million book, I only had 7.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, yeah. Thank you for the question, Courtney. I've never had anybody ask that, but I'm happy that I know the answers on that.
Sorry. Well, I'm
No,
glad you do
good.
too. I would hate to ask a question that you didn't know the answer to.
Yes, I analyze these numbers a lot, and we try and analyze them based off of how many transactions can each rep have. And that's how we figure out how many employees we need. So we have a good gauge on how many they can deal with and how many they would get inundated with to where it would become, way too much. But we run very lean because we do a lot of automating. We do a lot of automating. We schedule a lot of follow-ups by, our technology. And we even have apps that we can send you guys where you pick the insurance carrier that you're currently with if you have an online login. And all it does is make you click on a link, pick your carrier, put your username and password in, you click enter, and it sends 5 years of your declarations pages directly back to the salesperson that requested it from you. And we have another system that's called the Cherry app where it picks up every single bank across the country. So for places that are refinancing, for cars that are being financed and whatnot, we actually have things to find out all of this information, even if your customer doesn't know it. So we've worked on this for many years. So Has anybody actually got their insurance written by us just yet? Anybody that's on this call, I should say, because I know there's a lot of Keller Williams real estate agents in general, but I know there's a lot that have. And if you haven't, it's okay. I'm just interested to see if you've had a chance to reach out and talk to anybody over there and have them take a look at what you carry personally so that you can get a gauge of how we work. Is there anybody on this call that has used us yet or no?
So like I said, I got the call, but then I never got the follow-up. So, I don't know, I guess I don't know when I would have expected that to happen, but,
Well, I'm going to fix that right now because that's not okay.
just from a process standpoint, I guess. I think he said he was gonna, and I was not in a good place to be able to talk about it at the time and or even write anything down. So I said that I would, I thought he said he was gonna send me a text with the Calendly something.
Okay.
So that we could get a time on the calendar to talk.
And you never sent it?
And I never got it.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I'm just writing down a little note here for that.
Sure, no, and yeah. And like I said, I was honestly, I guess, somewhat surprised to get the call just because I didn't really know nearly as much about it as I do even now, but,
Yeah.
And I guess, and it does make sense, certainly, I would think to have you guys be contacting our agents so that we can also talk more specifically about the process once we understand it from our own perspective as well. So.
Yeah. I think the best part about this is obviously in the beginning, I think we were speed dating. They kind of unrolled this and it was halfway. They had some stuff to figure out on the disclosure ends, the legalities of it. But now that we have that kind of ironed out, I think that more of these conversations, I'll probably get in front of more of you and more often so that you can feel very comfortable about what it's doing for you and the value that it's bringing, as well as knowing and understanding how it benefits you on the real estate side, because ultimately that's what they wanted.
Right.
You know,
Right. And yeah. And our office, the office I work out of is the one in Canandaigua. And it was kind of my understanding that the people that had utilized you guys so far were either West Side or the Brighton agents. I don't think anybody really from our office had been in those initial contacts. So
I know Susan
would have, but she's an agent in the Brighton office. So
yeah, that's right. You're right. I forgot how she's on that roster listed.
She's both. So
okay.
Yeah. So it's probably most new to people out where we are. So
okay. Well, I want to make sure that it's not new anymore. So
right. Well, that's part of the reason why we set up this call.
Yes, and thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Because ultimately you would never use something that you didn't really know too much about. So I appreciate you setting up the phone call and allowing me to come on here and just ask some, questions of you guys and answer some of the questions you had. Sure. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to, I know this is over Zoom and kind of as formal as it gets these days, but I really appreciate, taking the time.
No problem. I know Zoom everybody has a love-hate relationship with Zoom.
Yeah. I get it too.
Yeah.
So we have more coming down the pipe for you guys too. That's going to be better, but I'm not allowed to tell you yet. But this is just the starting point for what we're doing and what we're bringing to the agents. But just know that, Chuck and Anthony work really hard behind the scenes for you guys. And I'm not here to be a mouthpiece for them at all. But a lot of these ideas that we're working with, Anthony and I were very good friends before any of this happened. And we were actually trying to work together where you guys were referring them directly to my Allstate agency a long time ago. But the problem was Allstate has a very, very particular set of rules for individuals to be able to be qualified for them. So what we would find is anybody that referred over, I couldn't write them. The price was outrageous. They didn't fit, whatever it may be. And when I went independent, this all started because I just called Anthony and they said, yeah, we've been thinking about something like this. And we worked really hard to figure this out together. But they're constantly looking for ways to basically lower your guys' cap. And, you know, with Keller Williams, of course, being the franchise monster that they are across the country, wants to make their market centers and wants to make you guys, you know, the focal point of being the best around the country. That's their whole goal. So I guess I'm just an ancillary piece to this, and that's completely fine because obviously this is my business and I run it. But I do see a lot of the work coming into fruition for them, and I am bringing a lot of my contacts to the table for them. But I encourage you guys to talk to them if you haven't already on how they plan on proceeding with paying, you know, the agents, with working with the agents and with the cap, with profit sharing, all of that, because they have a lot of stuff in mind that they want to do moving forward that will significantly make this opportunity to be a Keller Williams agent far more attractive than anywhere else. That's what they want. So, you know, I hope that's I hope that helps you guys a little bit knowing that. Did anybody have any other questions for me at all? Okay. Well, again, thank you guys. I really appreciate you staying on for this long. I know 45 minutes in your day it's quite the threshold with the market that it is. So I appreciate the time for being on here. If you guys have any other questions, I'm just going to leave out my my email to everyone in the chat here. .com. So that's my email for everyone to see. And if you have any other questions, please shoot me an email. I'm very responsive in there, usually with, I mean, if it's transactional based, I obviously get a lot of them, but you know, just email me, call me, whatever you guys need. And I'm easy to get a hold of.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick, for your time. We appreciate the information.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Have a
Alrighty.
great day, guys.
Have a great
All
day,
right,
everyone.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.